All right, what's going on, everybody? Gen 76 back here again, and today want to do something a little bit different. Normally, I'll make two separate videos talking about the recapping the two XFL games for this week. Today, I'm just gonna simply just talk about both games, just simply in this video. If you guys like that format, you guys can let me know in the comment section. I will continue to do that, but if you guys don't, I'll go back to doing the two separate videos like I did before. So talk about the first game real quick between the Seattle Dragons against the Houston Roughnecks. First of all, gotta give a huge shout out to the Houston crowd. I believe they actually set the XFL record for the most fans attended there. I don't know the number there. Again, I could be wrong about that. But as far as attendance wise, it's one of the biggest that the XFL has had. So gotta give a huge shout out to Houston. Of course, it's no surprise because we all know the Roughnecks. They're undefeated. They're now they were 4-0 coming into this game. They're now 5-0 after beating Seattle. But there's no shocking there. Houston's probably the most popular team in the XFL. So again, huge shout out to the Houston crowd. This was a very entertaining game. Had some controversy in here, but the Seattle Dragons, got to give a huge shout out to them. They fought, man. I mean, this is you're talking about a 1-3 team. This team fought, and you talk about a team that didn't, they're not known for their offensive production. Even today, they were not known for their offensive production, but they came in hot. I mean, coming in there in the first quarter, going in hot. Pretty much having a more balanced attack and 14-0 over Houston. The defense is playing an absolute, just tremendous level. They're doing everything they can to contain and hold PJ Walker and this explosive Houston offense. And again, they're up 14-0 at one point. But then Houston gets it going, man. Houston gets it going. They get a touchdown. And pretty much the sparks were just flying ever since. Now, PJ Walker, right? He had some mistakes, right? He threw two interceptions. One of them was a pick six, which gave Seattle the momentum. But Houston came right back down, scored, and I mean, it was just for the most part, this was a game where Houston kind of reminded me a little bit of the Kansas City Chiefs or the NFL, right? They're not really elite at the defensive level. I won't even say that they're really good at the defensive level. Their offense is dynamic and it's elite, but defensively they got some question marks. But Houston finds ways to win. They just find no matter how much they're down by or no matter how much they're up by, they always find a way to win a game. And there's always that momentum boost, whether if it's in the first, second, the third, or the fourth quarter, that just gets the team going, and Houston becomes just this unstoppable force. There was, I think that PJ Walker, I forgot the receiver's name, but that receiver on the sideline during when PJ Walker threw the interception, that gave them a huge momentum boost. I think it was to Mosley, actually. I think it was that pass to Mosley on the sideline, that beautiful, beautiful deep pass where Mosley was simply just going on a simple fly route. Beautiful, beautiful pass by P.J. Walker. But we saw Mosley make plays. We saw Mobley make plays. Cam Phillips was unstoppable. He was uncoverable in this game, right? Again, Cam Phillips, definitely one of the best receivers, if not the best receiver in the XFL. Almost had a 200-yard day. Running the tack, running the ball wise, that was okay for the most part. But PJ Walker, just as dynamic as he is. He's not the best quarterback in the world, but he's super, super dynamic. He's accurate with the football. He needs to cut the turnovers down a little bit, but overall wise, PJ Walker had a very, very effective day. The offense got it going late in the first, all the way from the last three quarters of the game. Just a very, very effective offensive strategy, offensive approach against a very, very tough Seattle defense that I thought Seattle finally figured them out, and then they made the adjustments, and Seattle just couldn't stop this offense. Seattle they got to figure out Seattle. They got to figure out what they have to do for their offense, right? With BJ Daniel. Obviously, he started this game. He was dynamic himself, right? Had over 45 rushing yards. I think he had a rushing touchdown included. I think he might have had maybe a couple. I'm not too really sure about that. Again, not the greatest in the world when it comes to throwing the football, but again, just because he's just so dynamic as a quarterback, as far as just what he can do, moving around, being elusive in the pocket and scrambling out. He's a dual threat in that sense. So, we saw him make some noise. I think that if this was at home, if Seattle was at home, they would have won this game. I'm gonna be honest. I think Seattle with the crowd, just with everything that they've had, Seattle plays teams tough, especially at home. I give Seattle home field advantage there. They win that game. I think Houston just took advantage of the home crowd. I think that, again, even though they were down 14 to nothing, again, the crowd was there. It gave them momentum boost, the energy that they needed. PJ Walker, again, showed that he was a leader. We heard some audio cues from PJ Walker. This is a guy that pretty much sparked his team to getting back on the right track. So, yeah, huge shout out to both teams, really, because this was a really, really good game for the 2 o'clock showing on ESPN. So the score was 32-23. Houston absolutely won this game. They were the better team, in my opinion. Seattle's got to improve on the offensive side of the ball, but Houston shows that they got weaknesses, but they're not an easy team to beat at all. They are still the #1 team as far as the record in the XFL. Moving on to the other game, which was the New York Guardians, my New York Guardians, going against the Dallas Renegades. I knew that New York was going to win this game. Of course, Dallas lost Landry Jones. And it was, again, the first half was really freaking tight. I mean, it was really, really tight, right? At one point, it was 6-6. Both offenses really struggled to move on each other's defenses, right? They couldn't really capitalize off of some of the mistakes that the defenses tried to afford them to have. They just couldn't, right? The offenses just couldn't capitalize. Both Perez, I forgot who the backup quarterback for Dallas is, but I know Perez. I know he struggled in that department. Dallas struggled to run the football against the Guardians today. I felt like that was the run approach. Again, they're an air raid offense, but again, if you look at their last couple of victories, they ran the football really in the second half. They relied on guys like Cameron Artis-Payne, and they just couldn't get it going today. That Guardians defense was tough. But ultimately, what helped win this game was the fact that offensively they capitalized off of Dallas's mistakes, which got them 12-6. And then all of a sudden, guess what happened? Right, it was pick six city, man. I mean, right. It was 20-6 at one point with McKay at the 2-point conversion, and then all of a sudden it was just pick six city, man. Dallas threw a pick six. It was just turnovers. New York had the momentum all the way. Dallas struggled to just move the ball all over them. Pearson stepped up. Again, Pearson I think he had over 100 yards today. He was clearly the best receiver there. McKay had a much better day, especially in the red zone during that 2-point conversion. This was a game that pretty much whoever made the most mental errors or whoever made the most mistakes was going to lose the game, because both offenses are not good, at least with Landry Jones not being in the fold, with him being hurt. Both offenses are not good. It's pretty much whatever defenses or special teams can make the most out of the opportunities that the other team can give them, was simply going to win this game. Now, right, Dallas came, right, offensively they just couldn't get it going, but they got a kick return touchdown. We got our second kick return touchdown in the XFL. I thought that personally it would give them a momentum boost. That clearly didn't happen. Dallas just struggled to move the ball, and then when they did move the ball, guess what? It was turnovers, right? It was a pick six and another pick to the defensive lineman, number 95 for the Guardians. So just overall wise, man, this was just I personally got bored of the game a little bit, but just knowing that Landry Jones was, Dallas, we've seen 3 games where they struggled without Landry Jones. It was pretty apparent that the Guardians, right, even with the struggles with Matt McGloin and with Williams there, Luis Perez was that guy that gave the Guardians that spark. Now, he's not the greatest quarterback in the world, but he does give this team a spark. And I thought that the Guardians did a great job capitalizing off of Dallas with the loss of Landry Jones there. You can tell that the team was still, they were just out of funk. They couldn't really get their playmakers from the receivers to their tight ends especially with Durham. They couldn't get them going, and the Guardians took advantage of that with their nasty defense. So yeah, the Guardians were definitely the better team here. They got just a lot more things in order than Dallas tonight. Obviously, Dallas wanted to get this one at home, but the Guardians took advantage of it, and they're 3-2, and they're in playoff position right now, right? Despite the 2 really bad losses that they suffered, they're 3-2, and they're in playoff position right now. So, Hey, great win for the Guardians. I know for Dallas, they got to try to figure out something. They got to figure out what they can do, especially at the quarterback position, because again, just so many things out of funk today with their playmakers, and especially with the offensive line, just a lot of miscommunication. But really, again, New York, they won this game, but New York could have won a lot more, right? New York could have won this game by a lot more. Remember, McKay, I think there was a touchdown where McKay had it, and for some reason it was a clear touchdown, but they took it away. They didn't. Matter of fact, they didn't review it. So New York could have put up a lot more points today if it wasn't for that call. They took the field goal instead. But overall wise, yeah, the Guardians really dominated this game. Not really surprised. I'm just kind of surprised how long it took them for them to get points on the board. I think that kind of tells me that yeah, this Guardians offense needs to be a lot better. I understand that Dallas, they competed really well the last couple of games. And again, with Landry Jones in the fold, they're one of the best teams in the XFL. But New York got to take advantage of Dallas's loss, and they did. I just thought that they could have done it a lot quicker. They didn't do it until like midway through the first half all the way from the second. So, yeah, just my thoughts of today's recap. Again, if you guys liked the video, hit the like button, share the video, and subscribe. Make sure to hit the notification bell, especially if you want more XFL coverage. And if you guys like this format, let me know, and I will continue to do this format. But if you guys want me to go back to the old format, I will go back to that. Again, I'm trying to do whatever it takes to improve this channel, improve the videos here at Chat 716. So anyway, guys, that's all I got for you guys, at least for today. Tomorrow, more XFL football, so I can't wait for those games. And yeah, that's all I got. So anyway, guys, have a great night. Stay safe. Just 716. I'm out. Peace.